Internet Boyfriend, and I'm your favorite rapper based in Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm your host, Rian Archer. This is Everything Nice. Okay, so we decided to start this episode in ASMR, but we don't have to do it the whole time.
That's really good.
Okay, so Charles.
Hi.
For anyone that doesn't know what just happened, can you explain to me ASMR?
Yeah, so ASMR is like one of the newest trends right now, and it's where you can either like whisper or you're like focusing on like the sounds of mostly inanimate objects, or you can eat. I like to eat and do it a lot too, but it's a huge trend right now. Just like the whole audio visual stimulation.
Awesome. Yeah, you're a big fan of like the internet and YouTube and content, and you make not only music but also mukbangs.
Mukbangs, yeah, I like to film mukbangs, but also too I make like music videos as well, and I have really prided myself on being a visual artist as well as being like a recording artist and performance artist, but visuals are a huge part of my passion.
Excellent. Yeah, so you're not an ASMR YouTuber?
No.
Cool.
I just do that for fun.
Okay, great. So
Just for fun.
tell us. So full disclosure, Charles is my roommate and close friend and artistic collaborator. Let's start by expanding like the introduction of Internet Boyfriend, your music project. What is Internet Boyfriend? Who is Internet Boyfriend? What does Internet Boyfriend sound like and look like and act like?
Well, of course, Internet Boyfriend is my music project. It's a study of like I said, like millennials in past interviews, but no, it's a study of millennials and how just like we interact with each other online and strangers online, and how we really make ourselves vulnerable to people around the world that we've never met or that we've gone on like Tinder dates with once and hooked up with once, and then you just keep talking to them, and it's really nice. So it's like the study of that and just the identity crisis culture we're all in, especially if you're a young adult, because everyone's struggling with how to live a full life in real life and not translate that on Instagram or a social media platform. So I'm really taking advantage of like the identity crisis like every young adult is dealing with, and like the huge effects that social media has on like our psyche that people don't realize. I can tell that like my hands and arms hurt a lot from how I hold my phone. I'm on my phone like all the time, like tendons and fingers hurt, and like I feel like it's due to being on my phone so much.
Yeah, I relate. I think I have trackpad shoulder from crunching my little arm in.
Yeah,
my
it's
laptop.
real. But no, Internet Boyfriend, whenever you see me live, I'm really always just like decked out in my finest fucking streetwear for you. I usually have dyed hair. It's like the truest form of myself, who is Kalo. And yeah, no, but that's what Internet Boyfriend is. It's just like a big play on just internet culture and being a millennial and sifting through mediocrity.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't say that Internet Boyfriend is anywhere close to mediocre. I think a lot of the presentation of self that you do is like about presenting your best self, no? Some of your lyrical content, it's like navigating these situations, like you said, love in the 21st century and millennial culture and internet culture.
And call out culture.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so a few songs I've written are kind of just been like my experiences within like call out culture and like the context of it. Like whenever it comes to what's actually valid, what's just the slander or shit talk of someone who has ill intentions that are more self-serving than like has the intent of a community or a greater good, besides something more like self-serving. I've only been like one position where someone just out of jealousy and like their own lack of self-fulfillment, like I posed a threat to like their very fragile like mental state or whatever, and like I was being like, internet boyfriend was being called out for being like toxic, blah blah blah, XYZ. So I was like, instead of having like a dialogue or like straight up like conversation with someone who wouldn't be able mentally have the capability of reciprocating a civilized conversation, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna write a diss track about you, and I'm gonna write multiple ones about you and other dumb people who do nothing but just create stigma. And I hate to say it, but my haters are all white women. So like, so congrats on just making your angry feminist stereotype more real.
Like, why do you think that these people have wanted to tear you down?
Well, it's not really these people. It's really just like what I deal with. It's like one very specific person, and it's not really much to do. I think it is probably my identity, just because I live very freely and openly, and I live very unapologetically. And if I'm not comfortable with you as an individual, I'm not going to let you in very easy at all. So I think it was due just because of like how freely I live, and I don't live with very many boundaries. I have hesitations, but I don't ever like
boundaries with yourself.
Yeah, like, so I definitely have like personal boundaries and preferences, but I don't live with like limits though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
And some people don't have that in themselves, or grew up very liberal or freeing, and I did. So I feel like in the instance we were just talking about, I feel like it's just like jealousy. You know what I mean? Like, some people wish they can live as freely and express and express themselves how they really want to, and they can't. And that's not my fault. You can learn from me and try and be your best self, but don't take that from me because you don't have it.
Yeah, that's powerful. So you've not only out of these conflicts, you've not only created some awesome diss tracks, but it sounds like you've like
they're empowering too. Like, they're diss tracks that like are empowering if you really ever listen or read my lyrics. That's what I pride myself on, as being a writer. I'm honestly an artist first and like a rapper second, just because I grew up in a background of fine arts and performing in the performing arts. So performing, visual art, my visuals of Internet Boyfriend have really come first, and like recording and being a rapper have come second.
So tell me about growing up in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and being involved in the performing arts and school, and how that kind of shaped your artistic journey.
Yeah, so I grew up in a single parent household with my mother Martha and my sister Selena in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Whenever I was growing up, I went to private school. Like, I went to a Catholic school from preschool to 8th grade. And so while doing that, my mom knew it was really important for her children to be well-rounded. So I was in mixed sports for a while, like soccer, karate, and a little bit of tennis for off and on. And then around like 4th grade, I started acting. So I started doing more plays and started singing more. And so 4th grade on to high school, I was in the performing arts. I was doing musicals, like various like acting classes, dance, and like music classes alongside like the choral society in high school. And then as I got older, like senior year, I started smoking weed and stopped performing and stopped participating in the performing arts and got more into conceptual, visual, pop art, and performance art.
But you still have like a pretty strong passion for like Broadway and...
Oh, deeply. I'm going to see Beetlejuice when it opens on Broadway next month. Like, I'm going to take a plane in New York for a weekend and go see it.
That's really awesome. Does like musical theater and kind of dramatic performance influence your current music project?
For Internet Boyfriend, yeah. Just because I still rehearse a lot. I need to start warming up a lot more. But I just feel like people who are like professional actors who do Broadway and stuff like that, they're honestly like the ideal artists for me, because they put so much craft into what they do, and they perform it eight times a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and I love that because they're being active, they're healthy, they are working out, exercising not only their vocal cords but every other part of their body, because they have to like do a 2-hour performance.
It's a full body workout.
You know? So yeah, no, I love theater so much, and like live music is really, really important to me. I love hearing bands. I like symphonies. I love the Schimmelhorn downtown. So very much the performance art and theater are very important to me. Cause that's what I grew up on, was live music. I grew up more in like the rock industry and stuff like that, like what my mom was doing. So the industry I grew up around was very different than like what I am in now and what I'm participating in.
Like the music you were listening to and the DIY scene?
Yeah, well, yeah. So like the DIY scene in Bowling Green, it's very like punk hardcore, like hardcore bro music. You don't really get a lot of like... Now you do, I feel like, because a few of my friends are electronic artists in Bowling Green. But really, the huge like DIY culture there when it comes to like music, it's still very heteronormative. So that was the DIY culture I grew up in, was something that was really heteronormative, and there wasn't like available space for me and my friends to like be like queer as fuck, like hoodlums, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't space for that. There was like the one local dive bar, but like what the hell? Like I don't want to see the same people every damn day. So that's why I moved. That's why I moved to Nashville, was because I was like, bigger city, still in the South, not too far from my home. And my participation in a DIY scene changed whenever I moved to Nashville, because I was producing my own music more, and I was putting on my own shows and creating a space that I wanted.
So how does it compare in terms of like the queer community that you found within or around DIY music?
It's crazy just because I have found it, I'm going to speak in the terms of nationally here in the United States. I have been surprised with just like the genuine support I have received by queer people all around the United States. Like I just performed in LA for my first time in November, and that was fantastic. I collaborated with some of my favorite artists out there and met really great artists too, so it's just lovely.
So you would say like moving to Nashville has given you the opportunity to like meet more people that you can work with and make songs and videos with.
Extremely.
And not only that, but you've been able to go on tour as well around the country. I guess I would be curious to know how everything you've seen compares to what you've seen in the South, as far as like just DIY and your experience.
Yeah, no, well, since moving to Nashville, like the big thing that like why I needed to move out of like my town in Kentucky was because none of the music bros was taking me seriously. Nobody. Maybe like the one like quote unquote gatekeeper woman who like has a house venue in Bowling Green, but like nobody was taking me seriously at all, and it was so fucking frustrating because my shit's the best, and it was the best damn stuff coming out of Bowling Green, and like my friends and people supported it, but it was like whenever it came to like the bros and like those 2-3 bands that play the same venues, same houses in a basement every weekend, and that's what they're going to continue to do, is play in those same basements their whole life, did not take me seriously. And it was fine because I didn't need that, but I was like, well, fuck this, I'm going to Nashville, I'm gonna go to Music City and fucking take over everywhere else from there. And so the big thing that I love is that people, even if we're acquaintances or friends, you take me seriously, because you know whenever you see me live, it's not a joke, it's not a game, and I'm not like rapping about dumb shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people take you seriously here, and your songs, your lyrics, they're, I think, provocative and vulnerable and fun, but also serious. But it's kind of that bridge.
Some of it's playful, though.
It is playful, and I think it's that bridge between, like, people don't take millennials seriously and, like, don't take, or perhaps wouldn't consider, like, the problems of Western youth culture, like to be of importance to like make art about, but that's what you're making art about, is like millennials and internet culture and youth culture, and people are receiving it well, and you've had glowing reviews in the Nashville scene for performances.
Thank you.
Yeah
Real, recognize real.
So what do you think about the positive reception to your work?
It's really nice. It's a nice little affirmation. I live for the reviews and I live for the applause. So it's like, I love it. It's cute. It's definitely not the last ones to come. I can't wait to pop off whenever my EP drops later this year. So
yeah, tell me about a recent release you've had before telling me about the upcoming stuff.
Yeah, I dropped a music video for a single called LA Boy in December, and it's doing well. You should go watch it. LA Boy, Internet Boyfriend. That was really the only release. I'm just trying to keep it really low key because I would like to move up north in the fall, and I just need to continue writing more and practicing a craft.
Do you hear a squeaky noise?
I do hear a squeaky noise.
What's the squeaky noise about?
Okay,
and we're back after solving the mystery of the squeaky noise.
The noise. We are back.
We loved the squeaky noise, but it's gone now. Jesus.
Sorry, that was my dick falling out of my pants. It went bonk.
Bonk.
I went, oot it. Okay, cool. Where were we at?
I don't know. But I know what I want to talk about, I think.
Okay.
So I have a unique perspective because I am friends with you and I live with you. And I feel like a lot of what I've gained from living with you, aside from just a depth of knowledge of pop culture, is an attitude that you should be able to work your day job and get paid and take care of yourself and like live the life you want to live, and also make time for focusing on your art, and that's like the end goal. And you have kind of a philosophy about that.
Yes. So something that I really try and pride myself on and maybe want to set an example for other artists is that it's really important to be career driven. And of course, whenever you are an artist, like making money can be really hard, especially too if you have to have like a job or two to support you if you are a working musician. And for me, I'm lucky that I work a day job where I'm very passionate about it, and it's something that does bring a good income in for me as a 22-year-old, and I'm passionate about it and I love it. So it's one of those things to where I'm not miserable at my job, and it just makes my night job, quote unquote, music or performing easier, because it also, of course, it supports me and my bills, XYZ, but also I can do what I want creatively with it as well. I personally think it's important just to have your future in mind, because if you are going all out, and as you should be going all out if you're a musician or a performer and you want to, quote unquote, make it, the thing is, not everyone's going to. And I think it's important to have a plan B. And that's what my mother always told me too, like being a performer and like in the performance arts, wanting to go to school for acting, XYZ. My mother's always like, you need a plan B. So in my case, I don't even see it as a plan B. I just see it as options for me as I get older and going forward. Like, I'm always going to continue creating and making music and rapping or singing, whatever. But I love working in fashion, and I would love to do both together and have them both pay my bills.
That's kind of what I see you doing, is a concurrent, like 2 careers at once almost, because you're being really smart about it, in my opinion. Your day job is helping you move to New York, which is going to help your night job, your music career pop off simultaneously. It's smart.
Yeah, and I just want to be seen as a career-driven man. You know what I mean? Like, whenever people even hear rap music, or like, assume a lifestyle, they're so wrong. Just because I don't want to be seen as I don't want to be seen as someone who literally is carefree and does not care about my own better interest in other people's. Like, no, I have a career and I do make pretty good money for someone my age, and I want people to know that I am serious about the music industry, but also it's important to have security and to take care of yourself in the long run in 10, 15, 20 years, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to focus on your craft as a musician, but also too, like, if you're not making if you're not making an income from it, at least find something that can supplement you, that also fulfills you creatively and fulfills your passions, so you're not hating yourself at some shitty like entry-level service job. And if you want that, that's fine, that's not an issue, but I can just speak for myself that I try and be viewed as a serious businessman.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And I think you're doing a great job. How has being involved in the fashion industry influenced your music project, Internet Boyfriend?
I can afford it. I can afford it a little bit better with that discount. But other than that, no, I kind of just like, I'm on a very almost surface level position whenever it comes to working in fashion, because I sell luxury goods. I have to study the product I get in from each season and know how to sell that and speak to it accurately and speak to like those brands. So I love having a job where I can engage in different designers and study what my company is buying from them each season and sell that, you know, like I run an appointment based selling business, you know, like in like over in Green Hills.
It's a job that's driven, your success is driven by you and how hard you work.
Exactly. Like they tell you at my company, you drive your own business, own your business. And that's the same thing. Like that translates to Internet Boyfriend, because what I do at my day job is literally running a business, executing it, and pushing product. And that's the same thing with Internet Boyfriend. So my day job has literally helped me get more of like a business ethic mindset. Instead of treating my music as like, oh, like my little like wishy-washy whatever. It's like, no, it's a business. Like if you book me out of state, there's gonna be like a guarantee and a fee, XYZ. Not always ever homies, but usually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna ask, is has being a salesperson and working in retail on a very serious level influenced the way that you practice as an artist. And obviously it has. You've got that business mindset. I'm really interested in your internet presence and how you engage with your fans and how you market yourself. First of all, your music and like the actual products, like your videos and your songs and your albums and the shows, but also just your personality and how that is all tied together.
Yeah, well, whenever it comes to marketing and music, I could be a little bit better, but I'm just constantly like posting on Instagram. I'm constantly posting like my research, what I'm doing, my screenshots, shit that I find that's funny and I want you to see, or that's like relevant to Internet Boyfriend, or like what inspires me on a day-to-day, or how I use and perceive the internet. I'm always pushing that and putting it onto my page so other people see it and can engage with it and kind of understand more of like my everyday life and how I view and use the world around me.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you have exposed me to a lot of pop culture that
I watch Wendy Williams every day.
That I missed out on, yeah, just in my youth. But you've exposed me to a lot of... I think Internet Boyfriend is like a pop culture icon.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the way that you engage with your fans is really important to your whole message and your artistic practice, because if what you're doing as Internet Boyfriend is exploring like internet culture, and that experience heavily involves sharing it with others through the internet, I guess I'm just seeing like parallels between what you're writing about and then how you practice engaging with your fans and engaging with people you know. it's your true lived experience, but it also continues to like compound on itself, where we're making internet art about the internet and we're sharing it with people on the internet. In my opinion, being online and kind of having more than, like 1,000 followers, just at the point where you're engaging with people who are strangers, and strangers are invested in your life as you present it online.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it kind of feels just like an extension of the performance. Like it's all kind of one performance art piece.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone's performing on the internet, you know what I mean? Like everyone is literally putting on a performance on Instagram. Like on their page, that is a performance. That is a perception of what a very specific perception that each person wants you to see. And it's like, that's where I go back into mediocrity. It's like, you literally, I just feel like the sense of like getting to know someone in real life, or like viewing them, or just happening to find them in real life just because you're present and you're somewhere, that's like where, if you're at a happening and you notice and meet creative people, I feel like we're losing that right now. Like, I know so many scummy, generic, like, white boys on Instagram who are like, I'm a iCast and I'm a creative influencer, and like you have a trendy haircut and some chains on. Like, the thing that I really don't like is that mediocrity is now just being like integrated into like social media, and people who are quote unquote gatekeepers, I'm noticing those quote unquote gatekeepers just like finding an Instagram page of some generic ass looking hoe and gassing them up and giving them like opportunities that they don't deserve. And you could find someone else like in real life doing some shit, and you could give them the opportunity instead of someone with like a filter on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a person's presentation of themselves on an Instagram page could look, or it could capitalize on some trends, like some trendy, streetwear kind of Yashika T4 film fuckboy kind of look.
I mean, I'm wearing a chain and
I love
Versace
chains,
sunglasses.
But basically, you're saying a lot of people get gassed up and receive opportunities or attention when they can't or
when they
don't deliver in real life.
When they have no talent in real life, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like whenever so like if it's like someone who has like a really like aesthetically pleasing Instagram.
Yeah, the value's placed on the aesthetics.
It's value placed on like their social media presence and their aesthetic, instead of them actually showing out in person and like wowing somebody or presenting an original fucking thought and not something regurgitated.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like,
because a lot of consumption or the way that we consume on Instagram, personally, just for me, the way that it's set up is it's not a conscious curation of content. Like, yes, you choose who you follow, but when you scroll on your feed, like, you're being presented different images by an algorithm, and you're not specifically seeking out like, oh, I want to watch a film from this era of like, whatever kind of directors in the 60s or something. Like, that's like an example of seeking out content and you're curating it for yourself, but we kind of just mindlessly scroll. And so it's really surface level a lot of times, the way that we consume on social media, the way we consume art through social media. And it allows a lot of people, I guess you're saying, to be mediocre but have clout and have some level of success.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not definitely not trying to like knock someone or like take their success, but I'm just saying, like, I have seen in Nashville that's what I've seen. It's just people literally with no talent or creative bone in their body being gassed up because they know how to curate an Instagram page. You know what I mean? And I say trendy haircut and chains because I have a trendy haircut and chains on right now. But
I can relate.
And I would just love to see that change here, because that's what I've noticed in Nashville.
So how do you think that we, as artists, trying to authentically present ourselves to the world, how do we go about curating kind of a network and community of other people that are not surface level, but that are really creating something worth investing your time into? And how would you be doing that, I guess? How are you doing it?
I would be participating in like the gallery hops here in town, like the art hops. I never can because I work Fridays and Saturdays usually. Mm-hmm. But on the seldom times I've been able to like actually catch it, I've seen like artists, like visual artists that I'm like so infatuated with. And I think it's that. I think it's just being more present and taking a chance and going to something that might cost $5, $10, or might be free. But I think it's definitely going to stuff that, or like even lineups or bills that don't have as, that might have like one trendy local person, but then like something that's like curated very well to where it's like there's like more unknowns or people who aren't as well known yet, you know what I mean? Because like I feel like if it was something that like if there was like a community that's like still trying to look and like claw for more like people to find and incubate and make just a more diverse scene, I would love that.
Do you think Nashville needs more diversity in the DIY scene as it is today?
I feel like in ways stuff is like still really segregated here whenever it comes to like the different genres of music and like the demographic of people who come to it, or I feel like of people who feel comfortable going to it, because like everyone on the lineup is like white usually, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where it's like I have participated in the electronic scene, and I also have participated in like the R&B and rap scene here that are two different groups. And of course friendships, like there's like mutuals in between, but it's like I was having a conversation with one of my friends who's a rapper here, and I was like, I want to see different shows to be really truly be integrated. Like I want people of color to like look at like some like rave bill or something like that, or like a show with like indie pop or whatever, and like come and have fun, maybe because there is a rapper on that bill or someone who can go back and forth with that genre. So I still really get a huge sense of like scenes being like segregated.
I absolutely share your feelings there. As a promoter, it's something I think about a lot, and I can say like quantitatively if I've been at or even hosted a bill and the artists are all white or close to all white, or especially close to all white men, which doesn't usually happen for me. But just one show specifically, like really sweet people on the bill, but it was seriously mostly a bunch of white dudes, and everyone that was there was a white dude. There wasn't even really other women there besides me and my fellow promoter. It was kind of like, whoa, this is crazy that happens, but it does. And that's important, that representation on a bill is going to make people feel more comfortable to come out to that show. I can't speak from personal experience being white. Like I've never had to feel unwelcome to a space, but like, do you think that people have had those feelings, or has anyone expressed those feelings to you of like seeing an all white bill like makes them not feel welcome at that space?
Yes and no. It's more of just like that silent like agreement, I feel like. Just because a lot of really fun functions that I have gone to where there's a huge mix of diversity are always like the rap shows, you know what I mean, that like are like group put on, and it's so much fun. But also too, the same people who participate in like those rap shows are still also too trickled into like rave sets and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But yeah.
How do you think that kind of issue of representation on bills and in the audience translates to not only like a racial segregation that we can still see, but also queer representation and queer community here, and queerness in music and queerness in DIY? Do you think we have a strong like queer DIY scene here?
Yes and no. There's definitely queer people who like we all support each other and do XYZ, but I wish I saw just like more though. You know what I mean? Like maybe like more like actually like queer ran spaces.
Yep.
But I would love to see like queer men like taking reins like in like the scene here and doing more. Like yeah, like I would just love to see like a collective of just like queer men. Like I think that'd be so cool because like women are so strong here and have like bound together and are like running spaces like dark matter. Like it's predominantly like women or like femme like ran. And I love that. But I need to see the queer males to do some shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, I want to see like a mix of like queer males. Like, I need more of like my queer men out here. Like, it's like, oh, they're here. Like, I have them. We just all need to collect and take over. Like, we need to. We haven't been doing that, but we need to. So I would just want to see more participation from like queer men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like, I would love that. Like, that would just soothe me. I would love that if I could just like work with my boys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very cool. And your name is Internet Boyfriend.
Yes, it is Internet Boyfriend Kahlo, but my government name is Charles.
Well, why are you Internet Boyfriend? Where did that come from?
Well, originally, whenever I started making music in like the end of 2016, the project was originally called De Kahlo, which in English means of Kahlo, and then it kind of just like was really hard because I'm in the South, so like everyone pronounced Kahlo as Kalo. And I was like really annoyed. I was like, please don't butcher that name any fucking more. And then I was like, oh my God, Internet Boyfriend. And I love it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just like stuck with it and still kept Kahlo around. So like, that's my nickname. Like that's my street name. Like I know where I am whenever I hear Kahlo or I hear Charles. You know what I mean? And there's not really like a huge difference between it. Like you can call me either or. If I don't really know you, call me Kahlo. Usually if I'm out and it's like within the context of like performing or something like that, I introduce myself as Kahlo and most people call me Kahlo and get that. But yeah. I don't know, if we're just like friends kicking it and it's something really casual, like, you know, please call me Charles. Like people call me Internet too sometimes, which is funny. But yeah, no, most people I'm Kahlo, but if I really like you, please call me Charles.
Good to know. Your plan right now is to move to New York City in perhaps the fall. What big plans and ideas do you have for the rest of your time in Nashville? What are you working on?
So I'm currently writing and slowly recording an EP called BB, and stands for Baller Baby. And I'm just like working a lot and trying to save some money, and I would love to move to New York City in like September of this year. So
tell me about the concept behind Baller Baby. Like how far along are you with that EP or album? EP. Uh-huh.
I have 4 songs for it right now. There's still a few of them still need to be written and recorded, but I have 4 songs for it right now. And I shot all the visual work for it in LA last year in November. And it's really just about my times going out with my crews, my girlfriends, and not paying for anything. Just really balling out and really indulging in excess. And it's accessible. And no matter where you come from, you can get that. And I just think it's really nice. It's just a reflection on my times just right now, like my experience in nightlife, enjoying the excess of extreme luxury, if I'm being honest with you. Like it's like me and my girls going out meeting these like affluent men, and we don't have to pay for anything, and we're kind of getting like those reparations back in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I see it as like appropriate reparations.
Yeah, I love that viewpoint. I kind of feel that way too, when it comes to the idea that a wealthy white men can and should just give you money for being around. would you want to drop a couple of names for the tracks that you have on there?
Yes. So a track I have right now, there's one called I Know What I Want, and that's going to be the first single, and I've been playing it in a few sets already. There's a song called Simone Rocha. She's one of my favorite designers. There's one called I Like It When Boys Cry, and the title track BB.
The song I Know What I Want, I've seen you play it multiple times, perform it multiple times live. And the lyric, to my knowledge, goes, I know what I want, I know what I deserve, and if you're not about it,
you can hit the curb. Because I like driving fast, and I love like riding in cars, and I love cruising, and I love riding passenger seat. And so like what I've been writing a lot about, like driving fast, and I've been listening to Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna a lot recently. So I'm just like, you can hit the curb. And like in the song, I'm talking about like going 85, heading back to East Side, like just like really fun shit like that. Because I just think like driving fast, riding in nice cars, and just like speeding, that gives me such an adrenaline rush. And I think it falls right in line with living in excess, because I believe in an excess of everything except moderation. So it's one of those things that that's what I live off of, and that's what I feed off of. It's just like, and that's something I really like in Nashville. It's just like that rich culture of just straight up luxury. And and I'm all about the manifest of it. Manifest anything, and it will come. Yeah,
I love that song, and that energy you describe is definitely there. I share the same experience of loving driving fast in the car with a loud song going. But not only that, those lyrics are like, to me, those lyrics are super empowering, and kind of about like consent and just knowing your boundaries and knowing your limits and not being afraid to tell someone off if you're not feeling it.
Exactly. And that's straight up what a baller baby is being about. It's about knowing what you want, accepting nothing else but what you deserve. And if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Like literally, it's all about being a powerful individual with a greater sense of what you want and how you know you can get it from somebody consensually, not like in an unhealthy way. Like I'm not saying scam. And when you are participating in like any kind of like arrangement with somebody, whether you're male or female or whatever, like you have to have your safety first, your better interest in mind, and also to go into it with like a really genuine attitude. Like literally, like these people are looking for genuine like relationships with people. So if you just go into something with an arrangement with somebody and you're not genuine, they can probably tell, and that's not really like, it just doesn't look good. I think the intentions you have of going into something, like if you're seeking an arrangement or like just going out with somebody and all your friends are being taken care of, you know, this is just my approach. I like being genuine and being very transparent with those people. I'm like, this is what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, you have to know your limits, but also have like respect for yourself and be able to vocalize that. And I think I Know What I Want describes that really well, that sentiment, and it's super empowering. But you also have another single that's about to come out that is separate, to my knowledge, from the Baller Baby EP. It's a collab.
Yes, it's a collab with Essential Oil. It's crazy. It's called CBD, and I'm so excited about it.
Will you tell me a little bit about that track?
Yeah, I will. So it's called CBD, but it stands for Crash, Burn, and Die. And whenever we were writing it, I was like watching a lot of like coverage about Princess Diana's death and just like her life, and I was like, oh my god. And so writing it, she was like an inspo for it, but at the same time it actually has nothing to do with her.
Yeah,
I was just like, CBD, Crash, Burn, and Die. She did Crash, Burn, and Die. So it's pretty dark.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, no, rest in peace. Like I love Diana so much. Anyone who knows me knows that I love like royalty and study the royal family and have nothing but respect for them. So yeah, no, it's called CBD, Crash Burn and Die, and it's really fun because it's also too on the same notion of just like being strong and rolling up with your friends, your crew, and your girls, and not taking shit from anybody, because it's on the same subject matter as I Know What I Want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like the lyrics are literally like, when I roll up with my girls, we're not to be fucked with. So it's straight up just a song about just self-care, and it's like a champion, and it's an anthem of self-care and having fun and nightlife, and like drawing a line between, because like the nightlife chase is fun between two people, or like the animosity, like this really intense, like hardcore sexual tension between a stranger or somebody. Like if you're really like out for those intentions and you're giving someone the eyes, there's a fair line between like what is consensual and what's abusive, and the chase can be a very healthy thing. And that's one of my favorite thrills about nightlife, is like meeting someone or giving someone the eyes. If you're at the club, you're on the dance floor, and you see that person and you're ready for it, like that chase is like so much fun. And there is a time and place where the chase is healthy and two people can exist in a way that's not abusive or toxic, and it's nothing but fucking fun.
I know the content of the song because I produced it, full disclosure. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's also kind of a fuck off to anyone that is against what you just described, I would say. Like when you roll up to the club with your girls with the intention to take up space and live your best life, anyone that's trying to fuck with you can crash, burn, and die, essentially.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I mean, like, that's what it is. It's like crash, burn, and die. Like, it's like the people who are coming for you. And, like, it's still, like, it's an anthem of, like, self-celebration and self-worth and your self-wealth. Because the opening lines are, yes, I buy my own shit. I don't need a man for it, which is crazy because, like, I literally like woke up one day and all of my friends are sugar babies. Like it literally happened within like
it did happen overnight.
It literally happened like in a month. Like I just like wake up one day and like everyone's like, okay, you need to come with me on this like date. Everything's paid for. Don't worry about it. He's really nice. Like blah blah blah. And so it's one of the things to where it's like, for me personally, like I have never had a man buy me anything like that ever, or have ever never been taken out by a man personally. I've only gotten the secondhand sugar. So this song is really, the song with CBD, the single separate from the EP, it's just a lot of fun, and it has a good message.
Sex work and sugar baby like work is really valid, like we talked about earlier, but you also obviously have this philosophy of working hard and taking care of yourself and building up your career. So whether or not you engage in that kind of work, you can still take care of yourself and you can buy your own shit and you don't need a man for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So CBD is going to be released for streaming and for downloads on all platforms Friday, April 12th. But do you plan on doing any more kind of collaborations with other artists?
I really want to put my friend Fame Walking on Baller Baby. That'd be really cool.
Yes.
Really, I mean, like all of the tracks are collaborations. Like 2 of them are produced by my friend Young Antoine, and then one's produced by AC Lambda Celsius, and then another is produced by my girlfriend DJ Jane Dupree, who's literally so fucking sick. And so all of it is collaboration. And then as far as like other I know for a couple of videos, like I'll be collaborating with my friends here in Nashville, and then I need to do at least I need to do some photo work too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, really everything I do is a collaboration. I just do the main operations, you know what I mean? But really, every Internet Boyfriend is a huge collaboration between community and friends and my loved ones, and so we all are Internet Boyfriend, and I'm just the face of it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. No, like literally, like. I can't produce or engineer by myself. Like everything I do is a collaboration. So there's many people behind what I do, as there is with any project, I would assume so. But no, I have a strong team of friends, loved ones, a lawyer.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let that be known.
I love to hear that. I love Fame Walking and Jane Dupree. I'm really excited. Really excited. You can catch Jane DJing at Canvas.
Yeah, Jane DJs at Canvas a lot, and then other spots too. I really truly like forget where, but I know that like if you follow her, like she's always posting like where she's DJing at, because she throws some lit parties and she's such a good person.
Awesome. So we're finishing up here today with Internet Boyfriend.
Thank you for listening to the Sugar Spice podcast featuring me, Internet Boyfriend. I've had so much fun talking about myself like I usually do. Hopefully this has given you some more insight on who I am, what I'm about, and where we're going. So thank you so much for listening.